Canmore Golf and Curling Club. It is the final draw of preliminary round-robin play at the 2021 Canadian Mixed Curling Championship. My name is Al Cameron from Curling Canada, once again joined by Christina Langs for color commentary. And two teams will close out their preliminary round tonight. It will be Saskatchewan at 4-1, taking on Newfoundland Labrador at 1-4. And both these teams would love to end this preliminary round on a winning note. Christina.
Yeah, they definitely would. So it's a little bit bittersweet that it's the end of the preliminary round, but everybody seems to be in really good spirits, and we've seen some super entertaining games from both of these teams. So I'm excited to see what happens when they match up.
We'll run down the lineups for both these teams. It is Saskatchewan with last rock advantage in this first end. And this team is skipped by Dean Grindheim. The vice skip is Sherry Just. The second is Cole Tenachuk. The lead is Allison Ingram, and they're from the Twin Rivers Curling Club in the Battlefords, Saskatchewan. 4-1 record. They opened with a 11-2 win over Prince Edward Island, lost their next game to New Brunswick, and then has rattled off 3 straight wins, 8-4 over Ontario, 5-3 over British Columbia, and then 11-2 over the Yukon last night, a game that was much closer than it sounded because Dean Grindheim made a raise for 7 in the last end, but it was 4-2 up until then. So, and they have that 4-1 record, and they are off to the championship pool. Newfoundland Labrador, skipped by Keith Ryan.
Right here.
The vice skip is Marcy Brown. The second is Zach Young. The lead is Cheryl Morris.
Okay.
They are from the Carroll Curling Club in Labrador City, Newfoundland Labrador. A 1-4 record. They lost their first 4 against New Brunswick, British Columbia, Prince Edward Island, and Ontario. And then hit the win column today against the Yukon. So both these teams will be in action tomorrow, but it will be Saskatchewan playing in the championship pool, and it'll be Newfoundland Labrador in the seeding pool, and that seeding pool will feature the 6 teams that didn't make it to the championship pool playing each other to determine the final standings, and that will set up the pools for the 2022 Canadian Mixed Curling Championship. But if you're Saskatchewan, Christina, obviously you want to keep doing the things that have been making you successful in this preliminary round robin and carry that momentum into the championship pool tomorrow.
Absolutely. We talked a lot about momentum yesterday and maintaining it and trying to keep the positivity going, and so Saskatchewan's definitely looking to keep that up moving forward. And I know if you're Newfoundland and Labrador, they definitely, I'm sure people have told them, they gave us one of the most entertaining games so far this week that I've seen yesterday against PEI, so I have high hopes for today for them.
Good team. They just have not gotten the breaks they've wanted. And the other thing I wondered yesterday, and I wonder if it has had some of the effects on teams that play at lower altitudes. Canmore at more than 4,200 feet in altitude. That's the highest location ever for a Canadian curling championship. There's never been one played at higher altitude in this country, and you wonder if that's had an effect on some of these teams, because you live here, Christina, you know it has an effect on people who aren't used to being physically active at that altitude.
It definitely can, and I mean, once you've moved here and acclimated, you don't notice it as much, especially since Canmore is such an active community. But I noticed it definitely when I go visit friends and go for hikes elsewhere. I feel like I have a lot more stamina anywhere else, but I can see it definitely having a reverse effect if you're not quite used to the altitude.
4,296 feet, 1,309 meters above sea level here in Canmore. So you wonder if that will have an effect on other teams as we get closer to that weekend. It can take something out of you for sure.
And this long of a week, too, playing this many games in a day and day after day is exhausting, no matter how acclimated you are to the altitude. So I'm definitely not envious of how tired and sore that a lot of people probably are by this point.
Zach Young will try and get another one warped around that short red guard. It is Newfoundland Labrador sitting a couple. Saskatchewan with last rock advantage in this first end.
Is it heavy? Just short.
She's 4. It's short.
It's over curling. Over curling. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
And we say Saskatchewan has advanced to that championship pool, so maybe nothing on the line, but that couldn't be further from the truth, as you carry your records 4th into the championship pool. So A 5-1 record would certainly help your odds better than 4-2 to get to that 4-team playoff that will be on Sunday. So they need the win, and they'll play hard for that win tonight. Cole Tanachik now.
That's good.
Able to get one of those Newfoundland Labrador stones out,
I got
but
hers. Okay.
it still is Newfoundland Labrador with shot rock.
2. Clean. Line's good. Line's good. Okay, easy. Whoa, 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 whoa.
The guard being called
Whoa, split
for
that.
Marcy
Whoa.
Brown.
Nice shot, Mars. Good sweep, guys.
Newfoundland Labrador doing a nice job of protecting that shot stone, Christina.
They definitely are. They've got a bit of a fortress built up in front of it.
Like Peel.
So Dean Grindheim will ask his vice skip Sherry Just to clean up with some of that granite in front of the house.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, where things are placed now, they really have no hope of getting to that shot stone. So getting to the guards is pretty key.
Good.
Here's a nice double peel from Sherry.
Do you want to hit that now? Still throw a drop guard.
Sure. Yep. Yep.
Keith Ryan will call for the hit.
You got it still. Come on.
That is the stone that really is the only chance that Saskatchewan has to score a deuce in this first end, so take it out of play.
Yep.
Yep.
Hard.
Gotta make it though.
Quick! Quick! Whoa, yes!
Hard.
It'll only be a piece.
Just enough. But it still is Newfoundland Labrador sitting shot and buried. So we'll see how Dean Grindheim approaches this.
You like 10? 10. You like that?
Boy, they don't see much of it, but we've seen over and over again, Christina, there is enough curl in this ice to make just about any takeout.
Oh, absolutely. And I would think the skips at this point are probably feeling confident enough to be able to make a call with that curl in mind. So it doesn't surprise me at all that he's making a go of it.
No, let it
That's
curl,
going to
let
be
it
on the
curl.
guard, but see if they can roll their shooter on the rings.
And it rolled in.
And it did. There it is. It's on. So that was an important outcome there.
Back one here too, eh?
And I'm never going to write off anything that's touching paint.
You
It's
better
the theme
believe
of
it.
this week, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah. So it was still a positive outcome for Sherry Just's shot. Removes the guard and rolls the shooter onto the rings. And now Keith Ryan's got a new path to deal with.
It looks like we're negotiating through a bit of a gripper mix-up. It's been going for maybe 3 or 4 rocks now, but there seems to be a crossover between the front ends of both teams, trying to figure out whose gripper is whose. It's kind of funny to watch them meet up between throws.
Well, don't they understand they own the black gripper?
And they appear to actually all be the same gripper. I'm confused by how Allison Ingram would have the same size gripper as Zach Young, though.
Keith Ryan.
Clean. Whoa.
Got 2 Purple Hearts representing Newfoundland Labrador.
Hard.
See if they can get that shooter onto the rings, and they avoid the jam.
A nice little roll in behind there.
Dead nose isn't terrible.
No, you know.
Because it either that or blank or like to ready to go this way, not to jam it, right?
Right.
What do you think? try it this way?
I like going this way. But
Feel?
yeah.
Just discussing
comes
which
up,
side to
open
hit
nose.
this on. The double takeout's certainly there.
Yeah, it definitely is.
There's a couple jam possibilities that they got to respect.
Just a teeny tiny bit of offset, but nothing really to
Are you trying to peel them?
cross your fingers.
I'm worried about it jamming on that back one way back in the corner, but
Cole says, don't worry about it. Nah. Dean Grinheim's first shot in his first. Is that jam going to happen? And will that spin back? Oh, it doesn't. It grabs onto the rock over there and stays out. That was a testy couple seconds there as they're watching that blue spin over.
Yeah.
But the double is made by Dean Grindheim. See that rock spin out. We've seen shots like that spin back in, but once it touched that blue, it killed the spin. So no worries. So Keith Ryan will play the hit on the other side. So
We have a very, very clean sheet for both of these teams right now. I'm a little surprised, to be honest. I expected a bit of chaos with rocks in play, but it seems they're feeling each other out.
the night's still young.
They seem to be feeling each other out with as clean a sheet as possible.
I believe there shall be chaos before the end of this game.
Definitely.
Trying to hold this shooter.
shooter! Shooter!
Very nice.
What turn do you like?
Good sweep there from lead Cheryl Morris to keep it on path and in play. So it will be a blank attempt for Dean Grindheim to carry the hammer into the second end.
Yeah.
Lots of Saskatchewan green amongst the fans on the ice here at the Canmore Golf and Curling Club.
They have a full 2 bleachers.
You better believe it. Trying to keep this out so they can get the roll out, but I don't know. Yeah, it's going to hit and stick. It'll be a single point for Saskatchewan. A little bit of a disappointing outcome there for Dean Grindheim on his blank attempt, but as we constantly say, it's always better to be in the lead than it is to be behind. So it is Saskatchewan in the lead to begin this final preliminary round-robin game against Newfoundland Labrador.
Definitely better to be in the lead, and something tells me that now's when we start to see a lot of rocks in play. If that blank didn't go quite how it was planned, I think we might end up with quite a lot going on.
Yeah, should be pretty quick.
So this will be Allison Ingram starting us off here in the second end. Allison's a pharmacist in North Battleford. University of Saskatchewan graduate, now working at Fisher's Drug Store in North Battleford. And a big shout out to Fisher's Drug Store and quite frankly, so many employers that give their curling employees and those with curling aspirations the opportunity to pursue their dreams. It's a big ask. Families, employees,
I think by itself. I think all by itself.
to allow curlers to chase
All by itself.
national championships. So
Absolutely is. It's a huge time commitment from pretty well everybody in your life. Little known fact, the University of Saskatchewan actually has a lab in Canmore.
do they?
They do. They study the water in the mountains.
Control weight.
They decided it would be a prime place to set up after the flood that Canmore had. And now they do a whole lot of research on preventing situations like that.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah, that with flood in 2013 obviously was national headlines. So that rock came into the ring, so it is removable by Newfoundland Labrador. They would have liked to have nosed that and kept it outside of the rings, but it'll spill on.
99.
So Saskatchewan's going to keep things clean here.
Like this turn?
I was wrong. At least to start.
Okay.
I'm okay with being wrong to start.
We're only 3 shots in. Come on now, a little patience. Patience. I always like to see leads get to throw hits, so there's a nice outcome of this situation.
Good throw.
Okay.
That's fine.
Roll out.
I got ace-stick. Got ace-stick. That works. Yeah.
Cheryl Morris now will be asked to throw a card.
No, it's coming down. It's coming down. But it's.
Oh, we're not in. We're not in.
Wow, that came down some.
Got 16 on this one.
Prime example of that dramatic
Wow, that came
curl.
down
Once that rock
right.
hit the final third of the sheet, it just skated sideways.
For the card, yeah.
Cole Tenachuk. Interestingly, we'll talk about Dean Grindheim. He's in for a busy few weeks as he will go home and practice for a bit, and then he'll be skipping Team Saskatchewan at the Canadian Curling Club Championships.
Easy.
It'll take place at the Hunt Club in Ottawa. That'll be taking place, and that'll be the next time you'll see coverage from IKS Live
That's
on
good,
Curling
that's good,
Canada's
that's good.
YouTube
Nice
channel.
throw.
That starts on November 28th, runs through to December 4th. Dean skipping Team Saskatchewan, but among the teams he defeated to get to that club championship happened to be
I got a.
Team Cole Tenachuk. Cole was skipping another team in that Saskatchewan Provincial Championship. And they came across each other in the B event, and it was Dean Grindheim winning that game. And you know, the respectable teams, we won't mention that it was 10-1 for Dean Grindheim over Cole Tenachuk, but that's curling. So that was one of the wins that Team Grindheim posted to advance to the Everest Canadian Curling Club Championships.
I can't say I've ever done it, but it must be interesting to play against
That
a
one put the
current
turn
teammate.
signal on at the Hawk line.
Well, if that's ever going to happen, this is the place where it happens at the mixed.
Definitely, yep.
So a nice throw by Zach Young to get behind that center guard. Cole Tenachuk will try and chase it.
Line's good.
See if they can freeze one, lock one onto it.
Yep. Line's good. No bounce. No bounce. No bounce. Yep. Okay, you're here.
Allison
Whoa.
Ingram and Sherry Just trying to
Nice throw.
lock it in, and mission accomplished. Very nice sweep, very nice throw.
Excellent sweep from that pair.
That's good.
They were
Once we got
working
line, it was okay.
Yeah, it's just on top.
Well
of us.
earned high five from Allison to Cole. Those two live together just outside of North Battleford. They own an acreage.
That's way less.
Zach Young now.
We gotta go.
This
Big
is his
sweeps
third
from-
trip to the Canadian Mixed Championship. But yes, big sweep.
Big sweeps from all the females right now. The ladies are doing all the hard work, I guess.
Well, as in life. Just a little short on that. Mentioned Zach, this is his third trip to the Canadian Mixed representing Newfoundland Labrador. He was here in 2018 playing with Chris Ford's team. Also played in the 2017 Canadian Mixed playing with his former university teammate Adam Boland.
Whoa. No. We got nothing yet. Can we go? Can you get it here or is it deeper? Well, maybe we can chip the blue, maybe? No, we're by everything.
Little deep, but see if that stone comes back and plays a role in this end.
We've got a lot of rocks on the center line right now.
See, 2 minutes ago you thought this was going to be a clean end.
Right?
Huh?
Let's go this
Didn't I
way.
tell you to have faith?
Always willing to be wrong.
That's a pretty great shot by Marcy Brown.
Lots of communication between the sweepers and their skip there, trying to decide what exactly was
You can still
needed.
tout.
Okay.
Same, I think same ice. We just gonna need 4 feet less weight.
Okay.
Whoa!
Walk again.
Sherry just now
Whoa if you can! Whoa if you can!
trying to take a few feet off her
Whoa if
first.
you can! Running! Running!
Right up.
Still got a curl! Got a curl!
Gotta curl left.
Got a curl! Go! Go hard! Go
Cole
hard!
Tenichuk trying to get a little bit of movement.
Go hard! No roll, no roll, no roll. That's good.
That's very nice.
That's the kind of learning you've got to be doing, especially if you want to be carrying on through. Taking a couple feet off is can make a world of difference.
Yeah, that's a great point. It's essentially the same call as her first, and she learned from her first
we
and
should-
made the
I think we
adjustment.
should try to double. I'm going to come look.
Marcy Brown would like to take a look at the angles on this.
That's not touching. We could go there. I said we could go there. We go there. What's he doing? I like that. Yeah. Yep. What do you think, double? Yeah.
Cleaning things up here is Keith Ryan to see, because there's going to be some rocks flying. I think they're going to try and see just half a rock and push that red sideways and push it into the other red and see if they can get both of them out. I think that'd be a great shot.
She came down and took a look and left it. So we've seen some big weight. Oh,
Like that. What a shot.
deadly. That was beautifully done.
You like the double run?
I do.
So Newfoundland Labrador now sitting 2 behind cover.
Might as well.
And the double run is looking at the call. Here's another look at that shot. Textbook execution.
Feel. Like, pretty much like 9/10 on your side. If we get the nose, we get one of them. If we can hit it 9/10 on 7/8 kind of on your side, I think we get close to both.
So the double run is going to be taken on by Dean Grindheim. Blue onto red, onto blue in a perfect world. Red, blue, almost.
Calls like that, you almost wonder if maybe there's an award for involving the most possible rocks in a shot.
But it still is Newfoundland Labrador sitting 1. And a chance to lob another one in there for Keith Ryan. got to put this in a spot, though, that takes away the double.
Yeah, it certainly needs to be placed pretty precisely, or we know they're just going to come back for another hit. And I don't think that Dean will not execute perfectly twice in a row.
Zach Young trying to keep it. I think that's a little light, though.
Definitely coming in on that top guard there.
Yeah, never gave that a chance. Does take away one side of the sheet. Not that that's going to change anything. I'm pretty sure that Dean Grindheim was going to play this turn.
These and they'll go hard.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. You're not anywhere close to the guard.
No, we hit the guard, we're probably jamming anyway, right?
Exactly, yeah.
So do you think something like...
That should be close,
That's got to be close with hack?
Yeah.
He's
It's
definitely
like
got an
hack to board. I don't want to be
here.
down hack.
Yeah.
You're good? Yeah. Thinking like hack to board. We've seen a lot of these and they move hard, right? Yep. Okay, thing is once we've got... If we get close to those guards, we're not going to be jamming at the back anyway, right? So we gotta miss those guards by
anywhere near close.
We're gonna have to miss those guards by a couple inches, I would think.
Don't need to hold the shooter
here. Know the weight right away.
Yep.
There's two other Saskatchewan stones in the sheet in the house. Of course, in a perfect world, you do hold the shooter, but the main job is to get rid of that blue stone. There might have been some mixed messages there, but it got the job done. Nice shot there. That cleared the guards by plenty.
It definitely did, but I definitely can empathize with Cole there. It's hard to be the sweeper between a yelling third and a skip.
So it is going to be a draw for one for Newfoundland Labrador. Looking at a pair for Keith to throw a few extra feet on his draw weight after the last one. Is that going to be on the guard? Well, it should come in enough, I would think. Yep.
Still going to do what he needs. One.
They don't ask how, they just ask how many, and how many is one for Newfoundland Labrador. So it will be a 1-1 tie going into the third end. Saskatchewan will have last rock advantage.
Sometimes giving up one to take the hammer can be really a big move that can make a lot of room for you to plan something. So I'm never particularly upset about it myself.
Nope. Two other games going on in this final night of preliminary round robin play at the 2021 Canadian Mixed Curling Championship. As we mentioned, all of the placements into the championship pool have been decided, but it's about making sure you have the best possible record moving on. And it is BC's Sebastian Robillard with a 3-2 record. They're playing the Yukon right now, and BC opened with a deuce in the first. Yukon came back with one in the second, so it is 2-1 for BC playing the third. And in the other game, two teams that are going to that championship pool and both looking to have the best possible record. And it's Ontario, Mike McLean from Ottawa, in a 1-0 lead over New Brunswick's James Grattan from Fredericton. Both those teams with 4-1 records, tied with Saskatchewan for first place in Pool B. Reminder, you can get all those scores, all the line scores, on curling.ca. That's curling.ca/scoreboard. All the scores and all the situations leading into that championship pool, you'll find them there. curling.ca/scoreboard.
Easy.
I don't know how much it's going to cross the line.
Easy.
Yeah, it will, once it gets up the center line.
We're tight, 3.
Yeah, I think you're in.
We're tight.
Got 15-8.
Sit down, Rock. Sit down. Sit down. Sit down.
Okay, that's good.
Good.
Nice throw, Allison.
Dean needs to figure out how Jamie Cooey gets the Rocks to listen to him.
Good luck.
It's a mystical thing. So it does come into the rings. Or pardon me, it's short. It is Newfoundland Labrador that's in the rings right now.
Tight, really tight. Got no line.
And there's another example. That stone just took off. If you are the slightest bit tight and soft with your release, meaning you don't firmly put that rotation on it, it's going to go like that.
Yep. Same weight, we'll just sweep it. Yep.
So Allison Ingram will try and tuck one behind the corner guard she just threw.
6, 7, 7, 8.
Stay close.
Coming down.
And Sherry asked Allison just to throw it to them and said that they could take it. So I think by this point they're starting to
You
feel
gotta go.
confident enough to
You gotta go.
drag
Gotta
a
go.
rock if they need to, which they definitely
Far as you can.
are
Far
here.
as you can. Curl if you can. Great shot.
Very, very nice. So it looks like the corner freeze will be the call here for Zach Young. Mentioned Zach having played at the university championships. He played for Memorial University, and they won a gold medal in 2017. Playing for Adam Boland, and they beat a very talented University of Alberta Golden Bears team in that final. But it was Memorial's Day. Team that also had Stephen Trickett at vice skip and Evan Curley at lead.
Back here. Just not quite hack. You chip off this is fine. Yeah, just through.
Cole Tenachuk will take a pass at the shot stone that belongs to Newfoundland Labrador. They have to work this to keep it straight, though.
It is curling like crazy.
I think it's going to be on the red. And spill into the rings, though.
No.
Or should spill into the rings. It doesn't. Wow, that really finished hard. And now, Newfoundland Labrador has shot stone sitting behind cover and a chance to play a double takeout and sit 3, pardon me. Zach Young. Will they hold that shooter? Looks like it's going to roll out, but it's still, the double takeout is made and Newfoundland Labrador does sit 2.
Just T-line way. Back 4.
Like this?
Yeah, sure.
9? Yeah, third. Third to a half, yeah.
So the double takeout is called for Cole Tenachuk.
Yep.
That just over-curled a little bit, but it will roll on to become a biter. I think Newfoundland and Labrador will have to pay attention to it. Sweep there by Zach Young. Boy, the one thing we've noticed is that the sweeping today has had really profound effects on shots. They've been able to hold them. They've been able to make them curl. Very, very good sweeping ice.
That'll be why Sherry asked for one of Allison's rocks to just be thrown to them. I haven't watched a ton of games today, so just being clued into the sweeping now, but...
Allison Ingram's going to work hard on this, see if they can make the...
That's fine.
Very nice. Good sweeping by Allison Ingram there to preserve that run-back takeout.
I'd have to say it's definitely a group of effective sweepers on this sheet today, for sure.
Marcy Brown will try and remove that Saskatchewan stone in front of the rings. Look at this one go. And they'll hold it. Very nice. So there is a couple Newfoundland Labrador stones in front of the house. And Saskatchewan will try and get around one of them. Sherry's a member, by the way, of the Prince Albert Triathlon Club.
Yep, you gotta go. You gotta go. Gotta go.
They help hosting the Frank Dunn Triathlon, which is the oldest triathlon in Western Canada.
Right to tee if you can.
Started in 1982.
Good.
And she's pretty good at curling, too, as we see by that shot.
And she throws a mean draw.
Keith Ryan now will try the run back. We talked about Dean Grindheim going from here on to the Everest Canadian Club Curling Championships, and Keith, meanwhile, will skip Newfoundland Labrador at the Everest Canadian Senior Championships, which will run in December in Sault Ste. Marie, and you will be able to watch action from that right here on Curling Canada's YouTube channel, with coverage provided by our great friends at IKS Live. Second over curl, it will. So that great draw by Sherry Just puts the deuce in motion for Saskatchewan. Still a couple shots to come.
That'll be close.
And they're going to go for a split house here.
$15 something? 15 and a half? So like this is as quick as we've seen all week then, right?
Yes. They're sliding nice anyways, right now.
Is it same as draw to the button, or is it quicker?
Same.
Okay.
Yeah,
15 and a half seconds from hog to hog is blazing fast.
This isn't typically a super fast club, but obviously we've got different ice makers on this week. So.
Let it curl. Let it go.
Matt Yo, the chief ice technician from Curling Canada, is here and has done a great job working with the local crew. Put together really superb ice conditions for this Canadian Mixed Curling Championship. Jim Comfort is the ice technician for the Canmore Golf and Curling Club, so he's been working hand in hand with Matt and his team. to get that deeper because the double takeout is now available to Keith Ryan. These are club rocks, and Matt Yo gave them a little texturing before the championship, sharpened them up a little bit, and they have been moving extremely well. And we'll say it again, no shot is impossible on this ice.
Yeah, we've seen some very dramatic curl come into play this week, and obviously by Wednesday of the week, everybody's kind of figured that out. But the first couple of days were definitely interesting to watch, everybody trying to get acquainted with just how far a rock would go and really trusting it. And I think they're there.
Big shot here for Keith Ryan to get out of a jam. Double takeout. Attempt. Sweep is called right out of his hand. Got one, but is that going to go over top? It will. And it will be a draw for 2 for Saskatchewan. They just need full into the 12, and that will get them their deuce. And that deuce set up by the wonderful draw from Sherry Just.
We just have about 2 inches more ice. Just.
General consensus is they like it.
Cole is saying that right as soon as it was released. That's a sign of good sweepers too. They can gauge it right from release.
Heavy clean.
And they know it feels good.
Okay, good throw.
Good sweep.
And it is a deuce for Saskatchewan to give them a 3-1 lead. And you hear those Saskatchewan fans in the stands. Saskatchewan curling fans always travel well, similar to their football fans.
There's quite a crowd here. I remarked when I came in that it's almost golf season level parking in the parking lot outside. We don't normally get this busy for a curling night, so it's nice to see people around the club for sure.
It's nice to see fans in the stands after the bubble last year. All the fans here are required to be masked when they're not eating or drinking, and proof of full vaccination required to enter the Canmore Golf and Curling Club, which is the policy for all Curling Canada events this season. A reminder of how things will shake down over the final 3 days of this competition. 4 days of competition, pardon me. Championship pool does begin tomorrow. The 4 teams from Pool A will play the 4 teams from Pool B, with the records carrying forward, and that will set things up. The top 4 teams from after the championship pool games will reach the playoffs, and that will take place on Sunday. Semifinals at 9:30 a.m. Sunday Mountain Time will feature first place versus fourth place, second place versus third place. And the 2 winners will play for gold at 2 p.m. Mountain on Sunday. Semifinal losers will play for the bronze medal, and all of that action will be right here on Curling Canada's YouTube channel. Meanwhile, the teams that didn't reach the championship pool will continue to play. There's 3 teams from Pool A, 3 teams from Pool B. They'll play 3 more games apiece against the other pools teams, and that will set up the final standings, which will set up the pools, the 2 pools for next year's Canadian Mixed Curling Championship. That goes across the face. Dean Grindheim will show that skips can sweep and take that through the house.
Escort it to the back.
Your 3's okay, but I like 5, 5, 6. Early if you can.
Got lost. I don't know.
Okay, well then. Well then. Well then. Well then. Yeah.
On its own.
Yeah, it's gonna.
Coming down.
Okay.
Just behind the tee line, but probably not the most ideal place because you know Newfoundland Labrador will try and put one just in front of it.
It's always hard to pass up good backing that close to the button.
Line's good. Be here. Where we can. Stay close, Mars. Line, yep. Line. Go long.
Newfoundland Labrador, by the way, trying to win their second Canadian Mixed Curling Championship. Their first since 2005, when arguably Labrador City's most famous curler, I don't even know that it's arguable, Mark Nichols, skipped Newfoundland Labrador to the 2005 Canadian Mixed Championship in Prince Albert, Saskatchewan.
Easy. Easy.
It is Newfoundland Labrador's only win in this event. Saskatchewan, meanwhile, has won it 10 times.
You got lots of room.
Second only to Alberta. Saskatchewan, though, looking for its first victory since 2015 when Max Kirkpatrick and his Swift Current team won at North Bay, Ontario.
Yep. Good.
In this event, the Canadian Mixed has produced some great winners over the years. You mentioned Mark Nichols. 2014, Darren Moulding skipped Alberta to victory in Ottawa. And Darren, of course, a member of the current Tim Hortons Brier champs, skipped by Brendan Botcher. 2004, Tim Hortons Brier champ Mark Dacey won in 2010. Susan O'Connor, an Olympic silver medalist for Canada. She won the 2008 championship playing vice for Dean Ross. Another Olympian, Shannon Kleibrink, Olympic bronze medalist in 2006 in Torino. The only female ever to skip a Canadian champion. She won in 2004 at Timmins, Ontario.
I was just going to ask you where the ladies were at. Thank you.
Kim Kelly has won this event.
Same thing.
In the past, playing
give you
for
1 inch
Paul
left.
Fleming. Susan O'Connor, again, I mentioned she won in 2008. She was also a winner in 2000. She had a guy named, she was kind of carrying the team. Kevin Cooey was skipping that team in 2000.
That'd be rough work for
We
her.
all know Susan O'Connor did most of the hard work on that team.
Wait if
Colleen
you can.
Jones, the legendary
out here.
Colleen Jones.
You gotta wait.
1999
You gotta wait.
champion
You gotta
playing
wait.
with Paul Fleming.
Not yet. You gotta wait. You gotta wait.
Colleen also won in 1993 with her husband, Scott Saunders.
Yep.
Jeff Stoughton, numerous time Brier champion, numerous time world champion, now currently the coach of Canada's men's national team, a two-time champion, 1988 and 1991. And the list goes on. Rick Lang, two-time Brier and world champion, won in 1981, 1983, and in 1974. So some great names have won this event over the years. Rock's in play, just like you asked.
Just like I asked for. Thanks, everyone.
And that's a really nice shot. Leaves Newfoundland Labrador sitting 2 behind cover. Watch this.
Okay.
You got a third of that on the outside?
Moved the Saskatchewan Stones
Okay.
and
we
left
gotta go here.
themselves sitting 2.
Eat it out
Tucked
here,
their
tap
back
it.
one in nicely. It was pretty ideal.
I like
outcome
here.
There.
Yeah. Yeah, like that.
One more former champion, Canadian Curling Hall of Famer Pat Sanders. Of course, a former Scotties Tournament of Hearts and World Women's Champion. She won in 1985.
Go up you can. Lots of room.
Easy. Easy. Looks like locks. Easy.
Wow, right off.
Whoa. Whoa.
See if this one can
Stay close.
move a little. Once it gets across that center line, here goes.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Sit. Good.
Very nice. Still is, though. Newfoundland Labrador sitting a couple. Keith Ryan's going to try and apply more pressure. Mentioned that 2008 Canadian Mixed Championship that Susan O'Connor won. Marcy Brown, who just threw this shot, was a player at that event. She played vice skip for Newfoundland Labrador's Gary Wensman that year at Calgary. Trying to drag this into the forefoot. Just come up a little shy, but definitely a usable rock.
She comes out of the hack so strong every time. I have trouble gauging what exactly the rock is going to do. But obviously her sweepers know
Or
a
you
lot
play
better than
this.
I do. We're building quite the ring around the forefoot right now.
Not quite sure what kind of options they have here. I think probably a nose hit's probably their best option here, Christina.
I mean, it'll clear things up. It doesn't do a lot for them in terms of getting... It won't have them shot, but it'll get the blue out of the way.
Gives them options later in the end, perhaps.
Then Keith will have to figure out how to shut down those options. So.
That got started. Ingram and Penachuk trying to keep it on line.
No. Fine.
That's pretty good.
Good sweeper is worth their weight in gold.
Wow. But now it is staggered, and that gives the chance for Newfoundland Labrador to get one behind it. Right there.
Mm-hmm. And that stagger has the kind of also negative impact of not making it easy to run something back on anything blue that ends up in the middle there. So Dean's going to have to do some thinking if they manage to stick this into that little convenient little pocket that's hanging out in there.
Trying to keep it out there, Zach Young. Just gonna touch that red stone. It does.
I think they might have just avoided disaster. That sounds ominous, but I was a little nervous for Saskatchewan there.
What happens if we hit this with
Just the way those reds are queued up right now, Christina, certainly
I was thinking that too. That was my first thought.
they'll be able to remove one of those blue stones, the one
Come up
at
to
9
nose isn't
o'clock.
the end of the world, right?
Okay.
But if we try and make that 6-2, and then we've got this one next time.
Okay, let's do this.
You like that?
Yeah.
So I think they're going to take on a slash here, the blue on blue at the back
I don't want to play
forefoot.
like that 8-5 again.
Okay.
You like that?
Yeah.
And they'll still have that red-red-blue combination on Dean's second shot, but if he can make this angle raise slashy double
Try and make
here.
that double.
They definitely
The
need
back
to
one?
clear out some blue.
The out, like the.
Oh, we're gonna slash?
Yeah. You like that, or you want to try and sit there?
I think if you slash, they just try and bury them.
Yeah. And we've got those reds are lined right up onto the one, just to get one of them.
Okay.
Right, but it's. Or do we try and crotch it, the blues and the reds at the same?
Always spinning.
I know, but we could get rid of two of them if we hit it right. I don't think we ever touched that back red one. Or the back blue one, I mean.
Okay. No, if you like this, I like it.
And if it comes up to nose, isn't end of the world, but
You can't see it, but
Yeah.
we're shaking and
I'm
our
thinking
heads and
8-5.
nodding in agreement as Dean talks this through with
Yeah,
Cole.
that was good logic.
Yeah.
Dean Grindheim, his first shot of this fourth end. Trying to make some blueberries leave the rings. Nelson Ingram trying to keep this high side of the raised stone. Might be a pretty good shot. Oh, just literally half a centimeter away from perfection there.
And just what they had discussed, Keith is going to try and put another one back into that spot there.
Great try. Just curled a hair too much. So Keith threw this on his first and just maybe a foot light. So let's see if he adds a foot to this and can snap one in to sit 3. Pardon me, it was Marcy Brown who threw the first one just a moment ago that was a little light, but Keith Ryan will try to get one in there to sit third shot, if not to sit 3.
Now that'd be a display of skill. My third through this much. I need to take a couple feet off.
Line! Hard line! Quick line! Hurry! Whoa, whoa, whoa!
That's going to be very light.
So we got 2 shots, I see. Either we go here, or we try the double. Even if we get it, like it, hit half a rock.
Right. You can't see much from that. I like the draw.
You like the draw?
I like the draw. Like we can even get here, right? Like it,
Yes.
it curls really hard.
This way we mostly give up 2,
Right.
because they're not getting to.
What does that look like, Allison?
Look, we hit. Well, we got too much. Like if I hit that, that's too much, right?
Okay, let's do that then.
You like that?
I like this.
Because it's catch it there,
Yeah.
right? You like that?
Yeah.
And if we dead stuff it, we dead stuff it, right? But even if we hit it and try and get it out to the.
Yeah.
So you like this call?
I like it better than the draw. I think if you're going to try it, now's the time to do it. I think if they... I agree with Sherry. I do like the draw.
I think about a third.
I guess Dean's point was that if you don't make the draw, you're giving up 3.
Like this? You want to play the draw?
If you make this,
Yeah. I don't think they're
forcing.
going to miss that draw a third time.
That's just it.
And so this will kind of pull focus away from hopefully them trying and achieving that shot for a third time, and the happy result could be definitely something substantially more for Saskatchewan than the one they would achieve with that draw.
last rock for Dean Grindheim in his 4th end. Hit just about all he could see, but he's got to get by the guard up top. Should be okay. And it does stuff it. And it will be a draw for 2 for Keith Ryan. Full 4-foot, just touch the 4 really. That'll get his deuce. But here you see another look at that. Just got a little thick.
Not the happiest of rolls, but he did see that coming when he was discussing it. He said the worst we can do is give them 2 with this, and he was dead on with that.
A little bit of game management going on there, I think. Take 3 out of the mix. So this will be a draw for 2 for Keith Ryan. Sweepers are on it. They need to get at least a half rock into the 4-foot. I think that is going to be light. So it will be a 1 for Newfoundland Labrador. And Saskatchewan will take a 3-2 lead into the 4th end break. The teams will take a 4th end break. We will too. We'll be right back to the Canmore Golf and Curling Club right after this.
One might say I was born to overcome challenges. 2 months premature, in and out of the hospital, and a heart condition. My parents call me their miracle baby. As with all survivors, I searched for my place in this world, and I found it here. This pebbled ice is where I battle now, and at only 12, I am already a 5-year veteran of this sport. I have my sights set on the Olympics. I will push hard to get there. The only size that matters in this sport is the size of your dreams.
Sweep! Sweep! Hurry! Hurry! Hard! Hurry hard! Hard! Hurry hard! 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 Yeah! Woo!
We should really be curling.
This ice is everything. It's where I come to feel close to her, to feel whole. This building helped raise me when my mother no longer could. When I step on the ice, she steps with me. My dad is my rock. We're a team now, like the four of us when we step on the ice. People say that this isn't a contact sport, but that's not true. It contacts you where you need it the most.
The game with the ice, and the rocks, and the sweeping, and the yelling. Each game starts with a handshake. Then, two teams of 4 people take turns throwing 44-pound stones down a sheet of ice. Each team throws 8 rocks, and the team closest to the center after all the rocks are thrown will score the points. This process is repeated for 6 to 10 rounds until one team is victorious. It's just that simple. Or is it?
Welcome back to the Canmore Golf and Curling Club. It is Draw 14 action, the final draw of the preliminary pool at the 2021 Canadian Mixed Curling Championship. My name is Al Cameron from Curling Canada, joined tonight by Christina Langs on color commentary, and I believe this is our last broadcast that you and I will be doing. I'll be heading home tomorrow. We'll be bringing in Darren McEwen to take you to the finish line here in Canmore. And it's been a real pleasure bringing you all the action here from the Canadian Mixed, and we're enjoying a great game here tonight between Saskatchewan and Newfoundland Labrador. Saskatchewan with a 3-2 lead after Newfoundland Labrador had a shot for 2 in the 4th end, but came up a bit light, and those teams just had their 4th end break, and I'm sure they had some discussions about how they're going to head into these final 4 ends. And I'm going to put you in the position to coach, Christina, and Let you tell me what you would have thought these teams would be talking about. If you were coaching Saskatchewan, what might you have talked to them about?
Yeah, I would compliment them on their positivity and their communication. They're doing a really great job of making a lot of team shots. The sweepers are working hard. They're communicating with their skip. It does come down a little bit to execution for me. There's been a few shots that were maybe 70% there and weren't quite what they needed to be. So it's that positivity and the upbeat vibe. It needs a little bit of a buckle down, I think. As much as, yes, they're leading right now, they do need to stay focused, I think.
And carry that momentum. We've talked about that. It's important to carry that momentum into the championship pool, which will get underway tomorrow. Newfoundland Labrador, meanwhile, just down 3-2, maybe let a point to get away from the Mayor in the fourth end, but hanging in there against a good Saskatchewan team.
And you can see them trying to build. Keith is definitely trying to set up some situations where they could take multiple points. And they are communicating well, but there's definitely a slightly more serious vibe coming off of them right now, and I don't know that it's working for them. There's also an execution thing going on here where the same shot being missed twice in a row is not something that I expected to see. And so just taking a breath and letting somebody maybe crack a joke and roll forward with a little bit of positivity and knowing, like, hey, you've got the skills and you can do it, you can execute. So it's a different way of coming at it for each of them, but it's definitely an execution thing right now where nobody's really running away with it because they're not quite making the shots.
It's interesting you say that about Newfoundland Labrador, and it kind of struck a chord for me because they're getting a chance to do something. They're wearing that Newfoundland Labrador jacket at a national championship, and when you think about how many curlers across Canada have tried to do just that, regardless of what competition is, and you yourself have tried to get into the Scotties Tournament of Hearts representing BC.
I've also tried for mixed.
And mixed. And it's a tough thing. And
it is,
it's an experience to be savored, isn't it?
It absolutely is. To be able to wear that jacket and be here for the week, wherever here is, and just be knowing, like, hey, I'm it for my province and I have earned this and I have the skills is something you definitely need to move through the week with, because it'd be really easy to get caught up in the, yes, you're here wearing that jacket so you need to perform, but sometimes that kind of pressure doesn't translate to a good game.
Yeah, great point. Almost Zach Young almost made that nice angle run double, but it still is Saskatchewan sitting one with hammer in this fifth end. Saskatchewan with a 4-1 record coming into this game. And trying to keep their losses to an absolute minimum as they prepare to go to the championship pool.
5, 6.
Line's good.
5.
Line's good. Easy. Easy. Whoa. Whoa. No. What do you got? Yeah, then. Bite the 8. Bite the 8 only. Bite the 8. Line's perfect. Just bite the 8. Good. Nice.
Another nice throw out there from Cole Tenachuk. They're sitting 2, and the run back will be called for Zach Young. All the games now in the fifth end. We'll run down the scores here as soon as the shot comes to rest. That's just going to be a little wide, and it'll peel out the guard. Again, as mentioned earlier, all the teams have been determined for the championship pool.
Split.
And it is BC's Sebastian Robillard from Kamloops in a 5-3 lead with hammer in the fifth end against UConn's Terry Miller. A deuce from UConn in the fourth end. So it is BC with hammer in the fifth. In the other game, a very, very tight game between a pair of 4-1 teams in Pool B. Both of them very aware that there's a big difference between 5-1 and 4-2 going into that championship pool.
Wait only.
And it is New Brunswick's James Grattan and Ontario's Mike McLean in a 1-1 tie. Ontario with 1 in the second, New Brunswick with 1 in the fourth, and it is Ontario with hammer in the fifth. So a big game there in terms of determining the seedings for the championship pool. I don't think you want to... You definitely want to carry a win into that championship pool, and you try to avoid falling to 2 losses at all costs. So it is Saskatchewan sitting 3 now. Marcy Brown will try and play the double takeout here. Should be pretty close. Very nice. Marcy Brown's made a lot of big shots through the course of this championship.
Speaking of execution, we've seen some big doubles from her already today. It seems to be her niche almost.
9, you said?
9, yep.
Mentioned Sherry Just and her involvement in the triathlon community in Prince Albert. She's done obviously her share of running. She ran a marathon in Banff, and she cycling enthusiast. She's biked across the entire province of Prince Edward Island, which would be a scenic ride, but in terms of a quad busting ride, she's done the Golden Triangle, which is biking from Banff to Radium Hot Springs to Golden, and then Golden back to Banff, and that is a tough slog of a ride, and she's done it.
That would be, just thinking of Golden to Banff. No, thank you. That hill just over after you pass the Kicking Horse on your way up. Oh.
That will kill a lot of quads and a lot of dreams.
Yeah, definitely.
It's tough enough to drive it. Marcy Brown now, another hit attempt. Saskatchewan sits 2, trying to score the junior deuce. 2 rocks in the rings, no guards. That will roll out. So split rings is the call, again for Sherry Just.
Yeah, you're pretty keen here still.
Go then. It doesn't look bad.
Up.
Easy.
It's not curling.
Cole reassuring everyone that we're good.
A little bit.
I do like the back and forth
Good judge.
on this team. They're great at communicating positively with each other.
So somehow, some way, Keith Ryan needs to get the roll, get it closer to the other red stone, and see if he can set up a double takeout with his last shot, but the roll is the key here. Working hard to keep that on target, and it will remove the target stone, but the shooter will roll out. So another draw for Dean Grindheim. Split the rings.
Same thing, T-line. Same weight out there?
15, yeah.
15 now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Same weight.
That's another example of how good this ice has been. There's just never a doubt in the minds of the sweepers that the ice has been consistent from the first end on.
You can definitely be valuable as a sweeper to know exactly what to expect from the weight, and it's super helpful when you're getting into the hack and they can tell you, like, yep, it's exactly what you think it is.
Easy.
Nothing crazy has happened yet.
Starting to curl. Starting to go now.
Okay, there it goes.
Curling hard now. Right here. Right here. Right here. Make sure. Right here. Exactly there. Oh, good job.
Just exactly there. Nice work.
You talked about the need to ramp up the execution for Team Saskatchewan. I think we're seeing that this end, Christina.
We definitely are, yeah. As much as it's a clean house, there's very much the feeling that they are in control of this clean house right now.
And the hit and stick.
We got to hit it, right?
Yeah, and that is shot rock. So can't be a draw. It's got to be hit for 2.
Yep, it's blue.
What kind of weight?
I'm thinking
So
like
just
that
an added
8-5.
variable, so it makes the
8-5
shot a
9.
little tougher. Anytime you're throwing weight, that creates the chance that it could roll out of the
8-5
rings.
to 9.
There's always an interesting mind game that happens with an open hit. As you can see it, it looks like it should be very, very simple, but for some reason...
Oh, I could miss
Like
it
getting a
10
9
ways
and
till Sunday.
Right? But if you have to put it through some cute little hole and catch just a tiny piece, somehow they're on the same level of difficulty in my mind.
But it is an open hit for 2. I'll never say it's a free hit or a free draw. This is open, but you still got to make it. There's nothing free about it.
Nothing's ever handed to you in
Whoa! Whoa! Just clean. Whoa! Right off.
But you do like to hear just clean.
Just right off. Right off. Right off. Right off.
And there's a perfect example. And that does roll out. So it is only a single point for Saskatchewan. There's a point that gets away from them. We'll see if that comes back to haunt them. It's a 4-2 lead now for Saskatchewan going into the 6th end. And that just illustrates what you were talking about, Christina.
Yep, it's that down to that execution. I mean, yes, they still took a point, but it was only the one, and now they have to give up their hammer. So...
Well, I was surprised he threw that much weight at it, too. But that's the weight he's comfortable throwing, but that does create that it takes it out of the sweeper's hands, and if you're missed it, you're not going to be able to get it back. So, but it is a 4-2 lead for Saskatchewan. And as we mentioned, they will start the championship pool tomorrow, and we will have 3 more draws tomorrow on Curling Canada's YouTube channel from the Canadian Mixed Curling Championship. They'll start at 10 a.m. Those will be 3 seeding round games, and then championship pool games at 2 p.m. and 7 p.m. All those times are Mountain Standard Time from here at the Canmore Golf and Curling Club. And that championship pool will feature New Brunswick, Saskatchewan, Ontario, and British Columbia from Pool B. And the Pool A seedings are complete. We know Quebec, Northern Ontario, and Northwest Territories. That's Quebec's Jean-Michel Menard. Northern Ontario's Trevor Bonneau, and Northwest Territories' Jamie Cooey. They all finished with 5-1 records, but they are seeded 1st, 2nd, and 3rd, and that sets up the crossover games. Quebec will finish 1st in that pool. And because there was 3 teams tied, they all had head-to-head is always the first tiebreaker, but they were all 1-1 against each other. So then it goes to draw shot distance. And based on that, Quebec was seeded 1st, then Northern Ontario and Northwest Territories. So 1, 2, 3, and then Manitoba at 3-3 is the 4th team that will advance out of Pool A. And a 3-3 record, it's pretty much a lock that Manitoba would need to win all 4 of its games in the championship pool to make the playoffs. They'll have to run the table. And the 3 5-1 teams have a little bit of a security blanket.
Manitoba's had an interesting ride through this week. They've been super fun to watch, but I think they've also had some kind of execution-y type struggles. You can see Alex is trying to set up to build
Anywhere
something.
but here.
He's trying
You guys decide either short
keep
or
his team
deeper.
positive and keep them working, but they definitely are.
I think you can go. I think you can go. You can go.
An interesting ride, I think, is the best way I could describe it. They've been fun to watch, though.
That's the
good.
Team All Forests. Alex Forrest, Brandy Forrest, Tyler Forrest, and Darcy Forrest from Winnipeg. But Manitoba being Manitoba, they could turn that light switch on pretty quickly and finish 7-3 and be in a semifinal on Sunday morning. So a couple of Saskatchewan stones in the rings. And a couple guards up for Newfoundland Labrador. Lots of great curling to look forward to this season. Mentioned the two Everest Championships, the club championships that begin November 28th at the Hunt Club in Ottawa, and then the Everest Canadian Seniors in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario. That will take place in December. Of course, next week, two big events in Saskatoon. The one all eyes will be on will be the Tim Hortons Canadian Curling Trials presented by AGI. That'll take place at the SaskTel Centre, and that will decide Canada's men's and women's four-player teams for the 2022 Winter Olympics in Beijing. Going on at the same time in Saskatoon will be the New Holland World Junior Qualifier.
All by itself.
That'll take place at the Granite Club in Saskatoon. And that will decide two teams that were the men's and women's teams that will go to the World Junior Championships in Sweden. It's not the Canadian Championship, but because the 2021 New Holland Canadian Juniors was canceled to the pandemic, Curling Canada, we had to find a way to determine Canada's teams for the World Juniors. So this event will take place on a one-time only, I hope one-time only basis due to the pandemic, and it will decide two Canadian teams for the World Juniors. The New Holland Canadian Junior Championships will take place in April in Stratford, Ontario. And that will decide Canada's teams for the 2023 World Juniors. Also on the horizon, of course, will be the Continental Cup, presented by Access Storage. That will take place in Fredericton, New Brunswick in January. The Scotties Tournament of Hearts will take place in Thunder Bay, Ontario, last week in January. Then there will be a break for the Winter Olympics, little bonspiel that'll take place in Beijing.
Very casual little event there.
Forgot to mention, of course, watch how this rock turns out, and we'll leave Saskatchewan sitting 3. Forgot to mention the Canada-Inns Canadian Mixed Doubles Trials that will take place in Portage La Prairie, Manitoba, December 28th to January 2nd. That will decide our mixed doubles team that will go to Beijing. So again, the Scotties, followed by the Olympics, and then the Tim Hortons Brier, presented by AGI, will take place in March in Lethbridge, Alberta. And from Lethbridge, we'll go straight up to Prince George, British Columbia for the BKT Tires and OK Tire World Women's Championship, presented by Nature's Bounty Vitamins. And then the World Men's Championship will take place in Las Vegas at Orleans Arena. That'll be the first week in April. So lots of great curling to look forward to.
You were talking earlier about the time commitment that it takes to make it in curling. Just listening to that schedule and knowing women like Rachel Holman are playing for ladies, but they're also going for mixed doubles. There's a lot of spiel chasing, and add on to that having a job, family. I can't even imagine.
Yeah, it is a tough haul for our Canadian curling athletes.
8-2.
You ever want to get a full listing of all the major events that will take place in Canada, including events such as the Canadian Under-18 Championships, Canadian Mixed Doubles Championship? You can find them all on curling.ca/championships. Curling.ca/championships. And if you're ever interested in attending our events, curling.ca/tickets. That's curling.ca/tickets. Well underway here in the 6th end, third rocks, and it is Saskatchewan sitting a couple. Marcy Brown is having a good game, trying to get a hit and roll here.
Her hits have been on tonight for sure. And knowing they have certainly makes it probably pretty easy for Keith to ask her for them. So it's nice to know you've got that in your back pocket.
Well, he also is knowing where to put the broom, and that's such a big spot. He knows Marcy's delivery quite well, obviously, and lots of confidence when he puts the broom down for her. Sherry Just.
I just noticed that her nails are also Saskatchewan.
Hard! Hard! Right to it! Right to it! Good. Good sweep.
That's commitment. Saskatchewan loves their green. Almost made the run back, but it is still Saskatchewan sitting shot rock.
So going around it now?
Now a decision.
Like hit and roll.
But I like going around mine too, so
Yeah.
I'm good with it now.
Now that it's there.
Sherry likes putting as many red rocks in the house as possible.
I concur. Talking about Sherry, she is skipping a women's team based in Saskatoon that includes Allison Ingram, the lead on this team. Allison playing second for Sherry Just team that will certainly be in the hunt for that Saskatchewan Women's Championship for the right to play at the Scotties in Thunder Bay. So the draw attempt behind the short center guard from Dean Grindheim.
Easy, easy, easy. Easy.
That is pretty great curling from Dean Grindheim.
Yeah, that right there was a team shot, if I've seen one.
Nice high five there. Not the best executed high five, but the spirit was there.
There was a lot of joy in it.
Yep. So it leaves a run back attempt for Keith Ryan. Cole Tenachek and Allison Ingram finish this rock off and comes to a perfect spot. Biting the button and fully buried.
It's basically a little seat for Marcy there for a minute.
Just will curl, but it still gets the job done. And does remove that Saskatchewan stone.
Where do we go?
Just ticked it. And Saskatchewan will be left sitting one.
Right? You set up a double there. Like you go here and give them a. As long as we're not here, right? Because we're up here. You guys like this? I don't know 100% where to put the ice to go here. Middle eight?
Here.
Yeah.
So they'll split the rings and try and set up a very steep angle so that the double isn't really realistic.
Yeah, he's half in the 12. Yeah.
They got to make sure they put it in a spot where they don't give him a double for two. That's the key here.
And you're seeing the benefit of a skip's long memory there in Dean saying, I don't know exactly where to put the broom to end up here, but he knows for the other line because he's seen it thrown a few times. So
Saskatchewan's last stone of this sixth end. They hold a 4-2 lead over Newfoundland Labrador. And the sweepers are right on it right away.
Line looks good. Top eight. Hard, guys.
Got to get it there.
Hard, you gotta go.
Go, go, go. Go, 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 go. Gotta go. Come on. Right up.
Oh, what a sweep.
Good sweep.
End to end by Allison Ingram and Cole Tenachek to drag that in. Needed to outcount the biter that Newfoundland Labrador had. And now it will be a force, a draw for one for Keith Ryan.
Sherry has got some pipes on her.
Yeah, she sure does. Coals aren't insignificant either.
No, definitely not.
But it's telling that Allison was the one closest to the rock there and applying the most pressure. And boy, she did a super, super job dragging that rock. They're still breathing heavy out there. So now the draw for one from Keith Ryan. They need full 8. And that front end for Newfoundland Labrador already hard at work. Zach Young and Cheryl Morris trying to get it to the full 8 foot. And I think they've got it done. Like 2 great sweeps from those front ends. As Cole Tenachuk and Zach Young look at each other and give each other a nod like, yeah, we did the hard work this end.
We earned that.
Yep, very nice.
Yeah, some excellent sweeping this end for sure. This game in general, they're all on it.
So it is a single point for Newfoundland Labrador, and it will be Saskatchewan with a 4-3 lead in Last Rock in the 7th end. Well, we have a chance, Christina. We just, again, this is being my last night here in Canmore, and I know this is your last broadcast. I know you share my feelings that this host committee's done a remarkable job.
I do, yeah.
Yeah, it's just been a fabulous job done. Dennis Graham, Kathy Seifert, and their host committee here in Canmore have just put on a great show, as well as the 90-plus volunteers. Our thanks to all of them for making all the curlers and everybody feel right at home here in Canmore. And great support from the community, lots of local sponsors, and I'd like to acknowledge them. Tourism Canmore, Kananaskis, Visions Electronics, the Canmore Golf and Curling Club, Canmore Brewery and Distillery Tours, Canmore Raft Tours, Harry's Popcorn Shop. We got a delivery from them, Christina, and as advertised, outstanding. Rome Transit, Black Stallion Spirits, Golf Design Services Limited, GDS, El Tequilino Tequila, and Moosehead Breweries. Our thanks to all the sponsors that make these events possible and successful. And
typical of our wonderful Scottish sport, there were a lot of alcohol sponsors in there. You wouldn't expect it of a small town, but Canmore does have a lot of breweries and distilleries to tour.
Yes, absolutely.
Yep.
I know my colleague Darren McEwen will be taking the mic over tomorrow, and I know he's going to be in for a treat and will enjoy his time here in Canmore. And I'll just also throw a shout out to all the guys with the production crew at IKS Live. Always a pleasure to work with you guys, and we'll see you down the road. They'll be heading to Ottawa for the Everest Canadian Curling Club Championships. But before they go to Ottawa, they will finish the job here in Canmore, leading towards Sunday's gold medal game at 2 p.m. Mountain Time right here on Curling Canada's YouTube channel. Underway here in the 7th end. And it is Saskatchewan with hammer and that 4-2 lead.
We got room. Lots of room.
4, 5.
Lots of room. Curl. Mine's getting good. Mine's getting real good.
Yeah, it's certainly starting to dive there.
Nice throw. Good sweep.
Great sweep. You know, we talked earlier, Christina, that front end, all the sweepers for Saskatchewan have really, both teams have been working so hard tonight. And again, that's where I point out about this altitude here in Canmore, whether it's going to have an effect. Certainly, the recovery time after a sweep like that is really affected, as opposed to lower altitude.
I don't know where everyone's staying. I'm thinking a lot of people are on the coast, but hopefully they've got a good hot tub. Because I'm thinking everybody's probably going to need a good soak to get through the week.
I know in talking to a lot of the teams, they've really enjoyed their time here in Canmore and getting out and enjoying some of the sights here in the Bow Valley. A lot of them
Thankfully,
made
the
that trip.
snow held off for you guys. It's mostly melted, so you've had dry roads, which is nice.
I know a few teams have made that trip over into Banff to check things out, but boy, so much to see just around Canmore proper. It's an amazing little town.
I'm certainly fond of it.
You liked it so much, you decided to call it home.
I did.
Clean, just clean, just clean, clean, clean. Good.
You okay though?
Speaking of working hard, all of Saskatchewan sweepers are down to their t-shirts now, so we know they're working up a sweat.
We got tons of time.
And this is not a warm rink either.
It is not. It is definitely not. I'm not typically someone who would wear a lot of layers to curl, but when I skip, I wear down.
So Newfoundland Labrador will call a timeout. Still just down 1 point, so it's 4-3. Still definitely in this game. Having some audio problems with that Newfoundland team microphone, so we'll just have to guess at what they're saying, but
Do our best to lip read.
But it is Newfoundland Labrador with shot. But they've got to be concerned that there's a couple of red stones in their rings, and Saskatchewan having hammer here in this seventh. They certainly don't want to give up a deuce or more.
They don't make it perfect, then it's going to be 7-3, right?
So the guard or the double is the discussion.
And we know Zach can throw the weight for the double, so I think they're maybe leaning towards getting rid of as much of Saskatchewan's, or as many of Saskatchewan's rocks as they can.
Hit and roll frozen wouldn't be a terrible outcome either.
No, it does offer a little more protection there. But I think we're going for the bold move.
Marcy Brown trying to keep this double in play. Looks like it's going to nose, though. And it rolls out, and I think that's a pretty positive outcome for Saskatchewan.
Yeah, I don't even think that blue is touching paint at this point, so Saskatchewan's good. They've escaped disaster on that one for sure.
Back four.
Couple options here. Maybe the split on their red
Back
stone.
4 to back 8.
Splitting the house has worked well for Dean so far, so I can see him wanting to lean into that.
And it definitely opens the path to that shot stone for Newfoundland Labrador.
A touch more, touch more.
We do know, though, that Saskatchewan would certainly not be heartbroken with a blank this end. Take a 1-point lead and hammer into the 8th. But a deuce would be terrific, too. 3 up coming home without is pretty golden, too.
Whoa!
The call was to split, make contact with their red stone and
Go around it.
put it sideways, but that's not going to happen here.
Curl, curl,
They played to the back blue one.
You got it. That's good.
That'll work.
Pretty good outcome.
Yeah, I would say it is, because it definitely cuts down Newfoundland and Labrador's options for multiple points. That back blue they had hoped to hold on to is now not as useful as they need it to be.
But there is backing for Newfoundland and Labrador to freeze to, and that'll be the call. Newfoundland and Labrador, of course, would love to steal this end, but forcing Saskatchewan to a single would be a nice outcome as well. 2 down coming home with. That's navigable.
Line's good. Line's really good. Go down. Yep. Hard, Zach. Gotta go. Hard.
is just over curls by a hair, but still in play. It is Saskatchewan with hammer. Looks like they'll come right into that pocket.
T-line. We want T.
Whoa, if you can.
T.
Whoa. Whoa, right off.
Whoa.
Close.
Yep.
Close. Hard.
Yep.
Hard.
I don't want to bump it, but it looks like they're going to
Okay.
it.
Newfoundland Labrador will try and lob one in there and add to the pile.
Got quite a collection building. To explain to someone how curling works with this many rocks sitting this close to the center of the house would be, I think, probably pretty frustrating for someone who's never seen it before. What do you mean there's so many there and only one matters?
Go, switch, go, Cyril, go, go, go. Hurt.
You guys want to talk about this one?
Are we doing that again, though?
Want to use it? Do we want to use the timeout? Okay, timeout.
Timeout.
So Saskatchewan will call its timeout. And consider their options.
Where that Newfoundland and Labrador rock just finished certainly narrowed their ability to get in there with all their draws.
Yep.
This was kind of my first instinct.
Yep.
Because if we get it right to here.
Yes. We want to try and get almost right in front of ours, right?
Yeah.
I like that.
I
right?
do.
We can't bounce off.
We just threw it. Yeah.
We can't bounce off. If we come up to here,
There's a great
is
look
bad?
at it.
Yeah.
Right. I don't want to really. We don't want to really
jiggle.
touch it. Right.
Well, even a little jiggle, like if you're right here and you jiggle it there, it just sets it, right?
Yeah. But if we could go here and not touch it, would be
Yeah,
perfect.
it'd be perfect.
Right.
I
Ideally,
like
we don't
dead
want to.
trees for sure.
Right. And this is not bad. This is okay.
Yeah, okay.
I think this is okay better than jiggling. Is my thought.
I'm okay with either.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's
We'll
go for.
there. That's fine.
Yeah.
Fine, yeah. I just do it, but I'll
Yep.
just throw a touch less. Okay.
So the miss is light, is what the conclusion was, but dead freeze would be perfect, but don't bump it.
So we're looking for a touch less. So this is another one of those, the ability to learn from it and pull just a little bit off is huge here.
Right on top.
Sherry Just.
Well then, leave it. Leave it.
And if it is 7, which is
Allison in.
on the tee line, that's heavy, but now here it moves. Grab the curl.
Hard. Gotta go.
Will it get by that guard? I don't.
Whoa. Whoa. Whoa.
No, it will not. Just broke a little quicker than they thought. Now Newfoundland Labrador can get at that red stone.
That is the risk with how dramatically this ice is curling. The second you start to pull a bit off the weight, it's going to grab and go. And they have strong enough sweepers that they felt they could hold it, but it caught them this time.
Just that little tickle on the blue stone at the guard there does actually open the door for Saskatchewan. If Keith doesn't make the shot and leaves that port exposed, there's a chance for big numbers for Saskatchewan. So Keith is going to have to make something good to take that away. As we said before, even a forcing Saskatchewan to 1 would be a pretty good outcome for Newfoundland Labrador. But they can't allow them the chance to score 2 or more, and that's on the table if Keith doesn't protect this port. I'd like to get one right on top of that redstone on the button. But light wouldn't be a terrible outcome because it would close that hole.
I don't think there's any danger in him throwing this to his sweepers, for sure.
Sweepers are working hard on this. Zach Young, Cheryl Morris. And that is going to come up light. And over curl. And now that hole is available.
Very available. They're not looking to do anything too crazy with it doesn't seem.
Dean Grindheim will play the draw to his own. Sit 2.
Couldn't go because you're saying 7, and I guess looking back, I should maybe had, yeah. And Sherry just got tight.
Yeah. He's really nice.
Dean Grindheim's first stone of this 7th end. Saskatchewan with a 4-3 lead and last rock.
6. Okay, line's good.
Easy.
Okay, room.
Let it work.
Room.
Let it work.
Whoa, no line. No line. Yeah,
You can go.
hard.
Now it's starting to curl.
Hard, Cole, finish it. Go, 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 go.
Go.
Straight back, go, go, go. Straight back, go, 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 go. Okay. Okay. That works.
Well, a little light, and it is still Newfoundland Labrador sitting second shot.
Yeah.
Now.
Oh, he can't pick his own, right? 'Cause it's jumping
Now
on
we're
top
going to
one.
see something funky happen, I think.
Keith Ryan will play the angle run in there. Zach Young, though, would like to have another discussion about
A little
this.
bit of consultation here. He's like, wait a minute, I'm not seeing this the same way you are. Oh, okay, there we go.
Just looking at the angles, I think. Big opportunity here for Newfoundland Labrador. He can make this angle slash. Could be sitting a couple. Looking pretty. Just like that.
Oh my goodness.
What a great shot. Keith Ryan, beautiful. And it is Newfoundland Labrador sitting a couple, and that just touched barely got it, 1/8 of a rock if that. Let's take another look. Tick. Bang. And it is Newfoundland Labrador sitting 2. Super shot.
Still a good position for us, right?
That was.
They just can't get 2.
That's the kind of shot you hope for. You watch a game of curling and you're like, just give me one of those.
Yeah, that's right.
You like this one?
Either one of these is good. So whatever
Yeah, I don't like to get shot on this one. We got to be so tight to here that we might not be able to move it enough, right?
Okay, this one will work.
So 2 is off the table for Saskatchewan.
Just playing it for straight taps, right? I think this is easier than playing the hole.
Oh yeah, it's either this one here.
Yeah.
Like
That one, if you play that one, you're probably giving them one.
Right.
Don't you think?
Yeah,
I agree.
Probably.
So this one is our chance to. Yeah.
Okay.
So they will play the angle
So we.
short raise on that red
gotta have
stone
it
that's
back
covering the
forward.
word golf.
Right.
Roughly 1 o'clock position on the
Want to
clock.
do back 8? Or back
I'm okay
4?
with that.
Back 8?
Yep. Yep.
Less ice then? Or
We got to hit the outside. Right. We just got to the center line.
no? Okay.
Steal of 1 wouldn't be the end of the world here for Newfoundland. That would still have Saskatchewan with Last Rock coming home.
We got to throw like back 8. Back 8 to. Cause we're only trying to catch like half a rock, right? Right. So.
It would definitely be frustrating to come off a shot like that, though, and not be
Let her
walking
know wait
into
early so we can decide.
at least some more even ground moving forward in terms of the scoreboard.
Last shot, Dean Grindheim. The sweepers are on this right away. Allison Ingram, Cole Tenachuk trying to keep it out. I think that's going to over curl. And it will be a steal of 2 after a remarkable shot by Keith Ryan on his last shot to set up that steal. What a great shot by
That
Keith
was
Ryan.
a beautiful shot.
So Saskatchewan will come home with the hammer, but trailing by 1. Tell you in the other games going on, both in the 8th end now, it is New Brunswick's James Grattan with a steal of 2 in the 7th to take a 4-2 lead on Ontario's Mike McLean. And British Columbia's Sebastian Robillard up 8-4 after taking 1 in the 7th on Yukon's Terry Miller.
It's interesting to note, actually, most of the scoreboards seem to be trading ends. There's really nobody dominating. I mean, the scores say differently, but it doesn't look like anybody's dominating end after end or after end this evening.
Yeah, very good games to close out this preliminary round robin at the Canadian Mixed. Cheryl Morris with her first rock. Just going to get across. Both these teams have roughly 5.5 minutes left on their clocks, so time shouldn't be a factor.
Gosh, that's so much time compared to
Eternity.
Come up short's okay too.
So right away, Dean Grindheim's going to go in behind that corner guard, try and set up that deuce. Working hard. I don't think this is going to be on the rings, but a double corner guard's not a bad outcome.
Gotta go.
Trying to get a bye.
Okay, you're by. Maybe. Okay. Come.
That was a bold call by Dean Grindheim. It wasn't by that much, but it is by. So double corners set up for Saskatchewan.
A big sweep to start the end for them.
What else is new?
Right? They're not strangers to it today.
Well, I got to say that's more helpful than Saskatchewan, because that's if they get one buried behind those 3 corner guards, that sets up the chances of a deuce in a big way.
And Dean definitely sees that, and he's gonna try and capitalize on it.
For real this time. Sherry Just. Cole Tenachuk trying to get this into the rings and buried.
Curl. 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 Curl all the way. Curl all the way. Good.
And there it is. Very nice weight from Allison Ingram. Good judgment from that sweeping tandem of Justin Tenachuk. So Zach Young. And yes, we're in the free guard zone rule, but they can remove their own rock. So that is the stone that they're going to try and raise up onto the shot stone belonging to Saskatchewan, and I think he's made it, stuffed it, and parried it.
Nice work. They intend to finish strong this end, I think.
The corner guard's still up, though. Here's a great shot at that takeout, run back takeout. So Cole Tenachuk now will try and see if he can get one in behind cover.
Yep.
Yeah, hard.
Okay, rub.
Hi, Rock.
Yep, go. Yeah, you can go a little bit if you want. Good.
Pretty good. And we'll see if they try that run back again. Yep.
Same thing.
Made it once. I bet you we can make it twice. Yep. Zach Young. And that one will just over curl. And it does leave the shooter as a guard, so
we either go here or we go here.
I like that.
Good position now for Saskatchewan.
Yeah.
Okay.
They'll see if they can get another one behind those corners. We do have a final to report. BC does finish off an 8-4 win over Yukon. So BC's Sebastian Robillard team from Kamloops will finish the preliminary round robin with a 4-2 record. And we'll start championship pool play tomorrow.
Whoa.
The updated draw, by the way, featuring all the matchups for the championship pool and preliminary pool, will be posted on the event website sometime tonight. Once it's completed, that's curling.ca/2021 mixed. Go to curling.ca/2021 mixed to get the updated draw. They're trying to bring this into the rings, and it will come in as a biter, but it's third shot. A little disappointment there from Cole Tenachuk. And now the call will be for Marcy Brown to see if she can corner freeze to the shot rock belonging to Saskatchewan. Is this going to over curl? Just a titch, so it is still Saskatchewan sitting shot rock.
Where's shot?
Okay. What do you guys like?
Couple options, I guess. Open side or corner freeze.
Let's talk about this.
Good thing they've got plenty of time to think about things. Doesn't often happen in the eighth end.
They have not called a timeout. They're just going to have a little chat.
Here's full 8 over here.
Yeah.
I think we almost have to, don't we?
You don't really want to line it because if you ever end up like this, then it's kind of terrible.
Yeah.
Even if you're like right here, you get.
Okay, so what if we
What
go?
about a guard?
What
Like
if
I
we
was
go
thinking
here?
a guard, if anything. It's either a guard or
Well,
here.
you guard and then they come right here.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I don't like about that.
Here's okay. Here's okay.
Okay. We have room for
Right?
tolerance.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think we try and go. Okay.
Yeah.
So the call is to go to the open side.
And as I mentioned last end, splitting the house has not done them wrong yet. So fair enough that they would pull focus a little bit and throw something else out for Keith to think about.
And And they talked about the problem with bringing play still over to that side is it does give Newfoundland Labrador to do the exact same thing, and you're playing with fire then. So sitting one, all you need is 2. If you're looking for 3 or more, you might be trying to get another one behind this pile, but Deuce will get the job done. So the open side is the call.
Looks heavy.
Does look heavy. But they have surprised me before.
We can't go. We can't go. Nice throw.
Very nice. And the key being that it is sitting second shot.
Like that, or you just want to hit air?
Now Newfoundland Labrador may want to have a chat. Marcy Brown will come and talk things out with Keith Ryan. Couple options: hit the open one or bump their own blue onto the red Saskatchewan stone, or even corner freeze, they said.
What do you like better?
I don't mind that shot. I like that hit and roll, actually.
I'm partial to coming in on their blue. I think if they pull focus over to the red that Saskatchewan just threw, they're just leaving some bait over there to be hit, and they're not necessarily going to hold on to shot rock in them.
And it doesn't change the scenario either.
No.
I guess if they keep trading, then it moves higher up into the rings. But here's a chance that for Marcy to remove a Saskatchewan stone and move her shooter closer to the other Saskatchewan stone, and that would be a pretty good outcome.
And I don't want to jinx her, but she's been a bit of a sniper this game, so.
On the sweeping right away, Zach Young, but this is going to be all over the guard. Tell that right now. And let's see if something can be made out of this. No, it's going to be on the high blue guard. And it'll roll over. So it is Saskatchewan sitting 2 now. And I think they'll about even coming right behind that shooter that was thrown.
Appeal. What do you like? We're sitting 2.
I like both.
We don't have a lot of time.
I was thinking peel at the start, but it's pretty high though, so.
Peel it this way?
That's what I was thinking, yeah.
We can, if you jam it to here, it's pretty good.
So peel out that guard.
Just nice peel.
Okay.
Is the call.
You like that?
Yeah.
Just a nice peel, as opposed
to the not so nice, mean-spirited peel.
Yeah.
Sherry just didn't underthrow it.
No.
Nope, definitely not.
Should be okay though.
I don't think we got anything.
Oh no!
And that is a tough miss.
That might have been a mean-spirited peel.
It was. I thought it might come up at the end, but it sure didn't. And that suddenly leaves Newfoundland Labrador sitting shot rock. And you can see the outcome. That was disaster. Newfoundland Labrador will call the timeout. And this end has turned upside down in an awful hurry. Now they're in a position to start thinking about a steal to win this game. They've got shot rock in the 4-foot. So I guess the decision is, do they go for the steal, or do they take out the other Saskatchewan stone and say, you know what, take your one, we'll have the hammer in the extra end?
I go for the steal. It's 9:30.
There's that. There's that.
You got to sleep tomorrow.
But listen,
we
another
move
end
into
of
the next stage of
there
things,
is that.
right?
There is that. But Another end of curling to watch is never a bad thing.
No, that's true. I would enjoy it.
And I think that was the decision. Keith Ryan will take out the Saskatchewan stone and sit 3 and say, go ahead, try and generate your deuce. It's going to be awfully tough. Got to hold this shooter, though, because if he doesn't, you know Dean Grindheim's going to take a run at that stone in the forefoot and see if he can get a hit and roll behind the cover. So important shot for Keith Ryan.
Okay.
They'll still go for that hit and roll, it looks like.
Freeze.
I don't like the freeze.
Okay.
Saskatchewan fans looking very quiet right now.
Like that with 10.
10? Okay.
And in the other game that was on the ice, wow, Ontario's Mike McLean scores 3 in the 8th end to beat New Brunswick's James Grattan 5-4. And Ontario will improve to 5-1. New Brunswick will drop to 4-2. Quite an 8th end over there on sheet C. So we are the only game on the ice. Dean Grindheim about to throw his first stone of this 8th end. Looking at 3 counters in the rings for Newfoundland Labrador.
Clean, close.
Yep.
Yes! Hard!
Trying to get the hit and roll.
Hard! Okay, we're out.
It's going to be right on the nose.
Okay.
I guess we need a little more ice, but that's good.
So the open hit now for Keith Ryan. And that will force Saskatchewan to take a single, or try to take a single and force the extra end.
It looks like they might be thinking about a timeout. Just looking at the conversation when Dean was approaching the boards, but we'll see.
Trying to get this to curl up a little bit, and should be fine, and it is a nose hit. So now the question is, does a nose hit get shot rock?
Yeah, you should be good. You just know
I don't know that it does.
a bit of inside roll is fine too.
Might have to get a little bit of a flop. Just a little tiny roll.
Oh yeah.
Sherry seems to think nose does it.
Same weight.
Yeah.
Sliver more.
I've said it before and I'll say it again. I'm willing to be proven wrong.
Last rock of the 8th end, Dean Grindheim,
We should be good with nose.
and he believes they should be good with nose. This end turned right around. The peel attempt from Cherry Just that was a little narrow and ticked off the guard and into the rings and took out their own stone. Left Newfoundland Labrador suddenly in control of this end.
Yep. Hard!
And the sweep is called.
Whoa!
Clean.
Whoa!
Clean.
Whoa! Clean!
Clean.
Oh, yes! Clean!
Clean.
Just clean, just clean, just clean. We're good, we're good.
There is the nose hit, and yeah, it looks to me like it is a Saskatchewan single, and for the first time in our television coverage here, it will be an extra end. And it will be Newfoundland Labrador with the hammer in this 9th end.
Okay, so it definitely falls to Saskatchewan here to shake it off.
Yeah, and that's the key, isn't it? I mean, that they were in control.
Newfoundland Labrador can hold on to that control that they got there and push through this end and keep Saskatchewan feeling shook. Or Saskatchewan can just shake it off, move on, reset. And that'll be basically what makes the big difference here.
So this 9th end, the teams will get 4.5 minutes on the clock, and I believe they get 1 timeout each, if needed. And it will be, as noted, Newfoundland Labrador with Last Rock. Reminder, we'll be back on the air with 3 games tomorrow at the Canadian Mixed Curling Championship on Curling Canada's YouTube channel. 10 a.m., 2 p.m., and 7 p.m. All those times are Mountain Standard Time. As play gets underway at 10 a.m. in the seeding pool, and then in the championship pool, we'll follow with games at 2 and 7 p.m.
Looks like we're just trying to sort out some logistical stuff.
I think there's always a break, and there might be a bathroom break involved for some of the players here as well. There always is a bit of a break between just beginning extra end, but got to be very impressed with the way that Newfoundland Labrador hung in there in this game. The 2 steal obviously making the huge difference in that 7th end with that fabulous shot by Keith Ryan.
Yeah, that was a huge shot. There were definitely some points that could have been huge turning points, and I think that their ability to just maintain that pressure definitely came in handy when there was a big turning point shot and they could capitalize on it.
As we mentioned, both of these skips will be on to other events later in this season. Dean Grindheim will be skipping Saskatchewan at the Everest Canadian Curling Club Championships beginning November 28th at the Hunt Club in Ottawa. And Keith Ryan will skip Newfoundland Labrador at the Everest Canadian Senior Championships in Sault Ste. Marie, Ontario in December. As we've said, the winner of the gold medal game here on Sunday will represent Canada at the 2022 World Mixed Curling Championship in Aberdeen, Scotland, where Canada will go for its 3rd consecutive gold medal. Wins in 2018 by Team Mike Anderson of Ontario. That was at Kelowna, BC. And then in 2019 in Aberdeen by Team Colin Kurz from Manitoba. Players are back on the ice, and we'll get things started here in this 9th end. And Allison Ingram ready to start things off here. And again, you know, it's a different circumstance for Newfoundland Labrador or the team with hammer in any kind of situation like this, where you spend most of the game trying to figure out how to score 2 points. In this situation, Newfoundland Labrador only needs 1, so it's a different mindset in terms of building an end.
Keep it clean.
Definitely. It'll be...
Gotta go.
I'm not really sure how I would approach it strategically. I'll be interested to see kind of how things get set up here.
Imagine more than anything that Keith Ryan's mind will be just on making sure he has a shot, making sure that there are paths available to the forefoot, and see if he can get one in there first.
And we do still have some cowbell.
Thank
for the
goodness.
ninth end.
There's never enough cowbell. Cheryl Morris trying to get one in behind that center guard, but that's going to be a little light, I think. So an opportunity here for Saskatchewan. Building that steal in Rocks out front, that is a big help to them.
You have to go line. Gotta go line. Straight. Gotta go straight. Hard. Hard.
Trying to get this by, and it will rub. But still 3 stones up front to be used. We'll see if Keith Ryan tries to peel his own out. No, they'll try and draw one in.
Almost have a little flying V of protection up front now. Not a formation typically used in curling, but
Always a first time. Cheryl Morris trying to play the draw. Looks like it's going to be on their own blue stone. Maybe they can raise it into the rings, though. And it will come up just short.
You like this? Which side do you like?
You like going the other way?
Either way, I think gets there.
Yeah, I don't mind this side.
So Cole Tenichuk now will play the draw. As of right now, the end is setting up ideally for Saskatchewan. 3 rocks in front, 2 of them their own.
Yep.
And it's Cole Tenichuk can get one buried.
Gotta go!
But it's looking like it's light and it's going to be on that guard.
Yeah. Keep on, go, go, go.
That's a missed opportunity for Saskatchewan. And you know now that Zach Young will be asked to remove some of that granite.
And as the spectators have left and the other 2 sheets are no longer playing, they're going to start to see the ice conditions tighten up, and I don't think they expected to see it quite as dramatically as what's happening right now. Things are definitely falling a bit short of where they had hoped.
Definitely makes a difference when you lose those players on the adjacent sheets. Zach Young now with the peel attempt. I think that's just going to be on the nose, so it doesn't really affect anything. So another break for Saskatchewan.
The first end.
Whoever can get in behind this wall first
Yeah.
will definitely be
Which way do you like,
pretty
Cole?
pleased with themselves, I think.
Okay.
So Cole will take the other turn now. The counterclockwise rotation. The right-hander's out turn.
Yep. Yep.
5, 6.
Trying to keep this out. See if they can get it by that blue guard. I think that'd
Gotta go! Hard!
see how they get this. Sherry Just, Allison Ingram working hard. Oh, what a sweep.
Excellent work from that pair of ladies.
Nice shot.
My goodness.
Just so.
Allison Ingram has earned a kiss on his cheek from her longtime partner, Cole Tenichuk. If not a glass of wine. That was a great sweep by Justin Ingram. Now another double peel attempt. This one is made. But look out. Will that red rock go out? It will. So very nice shot by Zach Young. That really did a nice job. Great shot by Zach Young.
2-3.
So now Saskatchewan will go firmly into protect mode.
They have their one. They just need to make sure it stays.
Sherry Just will try to throw the guard.
Yep, little early.
Those magnificent green fingernails.
Hard.
And they're saying it was light. Allison and Cole trying to get it across, and Sherry jumps in to help out.
Come on, guys. Come on. You got it. You got it. You got it. You got it.
Oh
Good
my,
sweep.
what a
Good
sweep.
Okay, good sweep.
Great job. Cole
So,
Tanachuk
yes.
and Allison Ingram.
The ice has definitely tightened up.
Yep, it's gotten a little slower, and they're going to have to adjust to that. But that's a high enough guard that Marcy Brown can definitely chase it. The shot rock in the forefoot. And the miss here is tight, Allison. You want to, if you're not going to make the shot on the shooter, you want to move that guard. Don't want to be wide. I think that'll be on the guard, looks like. Which is fine, but will that stone bump in? Dean was ready to sweep it in, but it won't be there. But now a chance to make the guard a little better. A little tighter would be the preferred outcome for Saskatchewan. Sherry Just about to throw her second. And with those red rocks over on the left, definitely takes away one side of a draw for Keith Ryan.
Especially with the stagger on them. It'd be hard to come around and finish back to where you need to.
Easy.
I was just about to say, I think the sweepers are happy to not have it thrown
Depends
to them for a little bit.
Curl it now.
Might have to finish late.
Gotta finish it. Yeah, go, go, go,
Don't want to be too tight with this, though.
Finish it, go, 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 go,
Yep,
go, go.
yep,
Hard,
yep.
hard, 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 hard.
Good.
Very, very nice. Looks like the run back will be the call for Marcy Brown. Might be an over curl here, just a touch. They'll try and get the shooter out of play. So now Dean Grindheim will again try to throw that guard. And as we've said all along during this event, Christina, throwing guards, not a walk in the park, but they've done it so far.
And Skip's throwing guards, not the norm.
I like 3 with this.
Yep.
Same weight or is it a little stiffer? Like 14.8?
We've gone from a 15 to a 14.8.
A little stiffer, as he said, but just 0.2 of a second.
Can have quite a dramatic effect.
Good. Line's really nice. Gotta curl a bit. Well, if you can.
Line will be good. Line will be good.
Gotta curl a bit. Gotta curl. Gotta curl.
We're ready.
Right,
Yep,
just under.
Go.
Just under line.
Go.
Hard.
Yes. Yes. Hard. Hard. Good. Oh. Good.
Whoa.
Perfect.
Nice work.
So they'll play the run back again. And while Keith Ryan lines up this run back, you know the conversation between Sherry Just and Dean Grindheim is what to do with their last stone if this run back misses. Do they throw another guard? Do they come in a little tighter? But first, Keith Ryan will throw this last shot, this first shot of the ninth end. See if he can get the run back. And he makes it.
Nice work.
Does hang in, though. That could have an effect. And now,
That's where we try and put it back in the same spot.
Yep.
Dean Grindheim.
Same spot.
It's a pretty simple discussion now.
We had here.
Yep.
Draw
Yep.
to the 4 foot, bite the button behind that blue stone just thrown by Keith Ryan.
Cole, yours we were about here. I think that should be good.
Yeah.
Hit for show, draw for dough. This is what the skips get the big money for, to make shots just like this.
He's definitely got his work cut out for him, that's for sure.
Line's good.
You heard right away, the Cole Tanachik said, I like it.
Good. Room. Whoa. Off. No line. No line. We're still on this. It's got to curl. It's got to curl. No, don't go for it. Whoa. Curl it. No. We're going to bump that in for sure.
There was some miscommunication there, it sounded like. They were trying to see if they could make it curl. And now, looked like it had the weight, but they couldn't decide whether they wanted it to curl or bump off the blue one. And now the question is, who is second shot? And would it matter if Keith Ryan doesn't hold his shooter? Does he draw? Does he play the hit? What's the call? Looks like he's going to play the hit, believing that he is second shot. It doesn't need to hold the shooter, but there's the problem. Is if his shooter goes sideways, it could bump that second shot stone.
I don't envy him this. This is not...
No, there's a lot to think about.
No.
Of course, if his shooter does go sideways, the blue stone there acts as a catcher. So they will have a discussion about this. And that's been the call from the beginning that Keith had in mind, was to play for the shot rock, but the weight was good for Dean Grindheim's last rock. The line was just a little bit outside.
You saw him wanting less ice there, and Marcy doesn't love that, so...
Shot for the win.
And it couldn't be a simple one, could it?
No.
Not in the ninth end. Definitely not.
Well, I can say with certainty there won't be a 10th end, which is always a concern. No. Happened in the Newfoundland and Labrador men's final last season, as many will remember. Went to an extra end.
Mm-hmm. That's a tiring game.
Especially if you lose it.
Oh, yeah.
For the win, Keith Ryan.
Yep. Yes! Whoa!
Trying to get it to curl. And that is for the win. Keith Ryan of Newfoundland, Labrador, with the 6-5 win over Saskatchewan. And that is it for preliminary round play at the 2021 Canadian Mixed Curling Championship. Saskatchewan will go into that championship pool with a 4-2 record. And a reminder, we'll be back on the air with 3 games tomorrow, 10 a.m., 2 p.m., 7 p.m. Mountain Time from the Canadian Mixed Curling Championship. For color commentator Christina Langs, I'm Al Cameron saying good night from Canmore.